Looking for clarity and confidence when it comes to decision making for your business? You've come to the right place. You're now listening to the Atomic Business Coaching Podcast.
Whoa, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Well, welcome to a very special episode of the Atomic Business Coaching Podcast with the one and only Lillian Sophia Hurd. Thanks for coming today.
You're welcome.
So I've invited you to come on our podcast, haven't I?
Yes.
Okay. So do you remember the reason I've asked you to come on this podcast?
Because, can I say the whole thing?
Oh, yeah. That's what we're here to do.
Okay, because one day we were at Starbucks and I was talking about how we did junior achievement that day. And when we did that, he said, wow, you're very good at talking about business. You should do a podcast. So that's how we ended up here.
Yeah. Why don't you tell them a little bit about junior achievement? Because many of the people who are watching this or listening to this, they may not know what junior achievement is. Maybe they weren't lucky like you in fourth grade to go through something like this. So can you tell them what junior achievement is?
So junior achievement is a thing where two people, most of the time 2 boys, would come in and teach about business, but they would most of the time be in college and be in like businessing schools and stuff. So then they would be able to talk about the business and how to run a business and like deployment, money, how to get a job and everything like that.
Right. And when they come to your school and they work with you on this, what was this special day that you had that inspired us to have this podcast today? What were they doing with you in school that day?
Well, the first thing we did is we would read these cards. So we have interest and business loan. We would have to read the back. Money paid for the use of someone else's money.
Right.
And then so he would put these on somebody's desk. Like, imagine I'm putting this on your desk.
Right.
And then you would have to, and then they would say, and then they would read it from paper and say like, okay, interest. And then you would have to say, I have interest. And then you would be able to read it.
Gotcha.
There's also business loan. These were the 2 that I was able to take home because a lot of other people got to take home theirs. Business loan, money borrowed to start or run a business.
That's right. So they kind of ran this like a game with a bunch of students, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So 18 students.
With 18 students? Okay. Mm-hmm. So why don't you explain to them a little bit about how the game went and how you played it and what your experience was doing this?
So we got to play. There were a few games that we got, and it was very fun because there was one that was kind of like Monopoly, and that was very fun. But we would have to track our business and our money. We would have to track our money on this thing.
Cool.
And it would, like a money tracker, so it would say like description, withdraw, deposit, and our balance. Our balance at the start of the game every single time is $250.
Okay.
The description, for example, Roblox, withdraw, minus $20 to, let's say, install it. And then.
So was it like Roblox the business?
No, it was just like yes, it was.
In this example.
It was something that we paid for or did to either pay for or to get our money.
Okay. So to run your business.
Yes.
Okay. So you invested in Roblox to run your business, yes?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And then, so I pulled weeds, and I got $5.
Why'd you get the $5 for doing what?
I got the $5 for pulling weeds for somebody, but not actually, just for a game.
Right, but so you exchanged your time and effort for money, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you got paid to do that. Is that a business or is that a job?
A job.
Okay. What's the difference, in your opinion, between a business and a job?
So, in my opinion, a business is a business and a job.
Yeah, what's the difference between those two?
A business is something that you run and like you have for yourself. For example, Atomic Business Coaching. This is your and Tom business.
Right.
And you help coach people. Mm-hmm. A job would be like you would work at a grocery store, but it wouldn't be for a long time. Okay. A business and a career, like a career is something you would have for a very long time. And then a job is like something that's just like a side job, like how...
Oh, that's good. So you have 3 categories. So you have a career, a job, and a business.
Yes.
So just when you think about business, and we didn't talk about this before, did we?
No.
Okay. So when you think, what's the difference between someone's career and someone's business? What makes them really different?
A career is something, how do I say this? A career is like a job that you will have forever and you will do until you retire, which will probably be at an old age. A business is something that you have to run, and like you would probably be like the CEO of it, and you would have to install more and more. Like let's say Target, for example.
Okay.
Target. The CEO has to install more and more around the whole globe because people like Target.
What do you mean by install?
Like get different locations.
Okay.
Like let's say there's one near Trader Joe's. They would go there.
Okay.
Let's say there's an empty spot over here, somewhere over there. They would put it there and be like, okay, this is where we want our business. We'll put it here and do it and make a new one. Like a few months ago, there was a new Ulta around near our house.
Okay. So what do you think a CEO's job is then? What is their main responsibility?
Well, the CEO's job is to make sure everything is how it's going, and they would have to make sure, like, okay, this is here, this is here, this is here. Okay, it's all in order. But something like that. But also a manager but then they can also hire a manager. So then the manager could take away a little bit of their work.
Great.
And it can be a little easier for them. But the CEO would still have to take the money, pay the people. So he wouldn't be able to keep the whole money. Like if I had this much money, let's say I had $250, and you were one of my workers, let's say I had to pay you $50, so I would pay you $50.
Okay.
And then I would pay everybody else more money.
Okay.
And then I would keep whatever is left for myself.
So you have to pay the employees. What else do you have to pay for when you run a business?
You have to pay to restock everything.
Okay.
You also have to
We call that inventory, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to get the inventory.
What else?
You have to pay for the actual location. You have to pay for uniforms, cash registers, and like the whole lot. Because if you wanted to install a business, put Target someplace.
Right.
That would cost a lot of money, ranging up to millions of dollars.
Sure. Okay, so you have a pretty good understanding of when a business makes money, there's still all these expenses you have to pay. So let's just pretend the business made it, just say $100, right? Just using a round number. How much do you think the CEO gets to keep out of that 100? Just your opinion. No right or wrong answer.
Well, how many workers do I have?
Yeah, let's say you have 3 workers and you're selling, coffee mugs, right? And you did $100 in sales. How much do you think the business gets to actually keep or the CEO gets to keep? If you guessed.
I would say everybody would get about $20, $25, $30.
Okay. So after you paid for the employees and the expenses and everything left, how much would be left for the CEO or the company, would you guess? $100?
No, because you have to take all the money and you have to pay for other things, so there still wouldn't be $100. I think personally you would have around $40, $30 left maybe.
Okay, good. So let's...
Actually, I think if let's say we were paying them, let's say
you don't have to worry about how much you pay them, but you were saying about $30 or $40, right? Okay, that's good because that means that $70 went to pay for all the expenses and the business kept $30, right? Do you know what that's called when the business makes money and then they pay the expenses and the money they're left with? Do you know what that's called?
Withdraw.
Well, withdraw is what's left they could take for themselves. Well, you might not have gone over that, but...
Can you ask me the question again?
Sure. So if a company makes revenue or income and then they have all their expenses, do you know what they're left with after they pay all their expenses? What that's called?
I believe not.
Okay. So we call that profit. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do now.
Okay. Do you remember last summer when we built your lemonade stand, when we ran the business, do you remember the statement that we had to look at?
Yes.
What was it called? Do you remember? Go ahead.
Can you say what you want to say?
It was a profit and, do you remember? Loss statement?
Yes.
Okay, so profit and loss. So how much you made or how much you lost. So that's good. So you have a very good understanding for only being in fourth grade of a lot of these things. So why don't you explain how you went through the exercise about building your business in junior achievement and what you thought about, what you did, and what your instructors thought that day. So why don't you explain how that went?
I got a question. Am I allowed to say the instructors' names?
Yeah, just use their first names, though.
Okay, yeah. So their names were Keith and Brian. And Keith was like kind of like pulling up slides and stuff, and he was handing things out to everybody. Like we got these 3 papers. He would hand these out and help out Brian, because Brian would actually teach us about the things. Because he would go like, he would say, okay, you have $250, and then let's say you found a better location, you get $30 more. So then you would have $280 more.
Okay.
And then we would keep doing that until either one of us won the game or lost the game. And then we would just and then we got our second paper, which was it says description, withdraw, deposit, balance, and there's a new one, loan payment. So we started with $500, and we all had to take away $100, so we had $400. We started with $500, and then we had $400 because we had to make a loan payment with $100. And then I did advertising. I advertised for a company. Let's just say...
Well, what was the company you built? What was your company?
What do you mean?
Didn't you build a specific type of business when you were playing this game?
Yes, I built a candle making business.
Because is that your dream to do that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you were building a candle making business, and you had $500 to start with that obviously you got from a loan. Then you had to pay $100 in loan payment, and then you spent $20 on advertising, yes?
No, I didn't. So, can I go on?
Yeah, please.
So for advertising, I advertised this thing, and then I got $500 more.
So the advertising did what for you?
It paid me money because they went up to me and they were like, hey, can you advertise this product? And then I would take my business and I would be like, hey, and I would have to advertise it like, hey, there's a new scent called this. If you buy one, you get a free gift card to this business.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
So did you get paid to do the advertising, or
Yes.
did you have to? So
I got paid, and I got $500 more because they said, wow, that was really good. And now so many more people are buying from our thing. Thank you so much. Here's $500 more.
So advertising, what does that lead to?
It leads to more sponsorships that you would get.
Okay, well, it means it leads to more customers, right?
Yes.
Okay, and customers allows you to do what?
Make more profit.
Okay, and how do you make more profit? What do you have to do to make profit?
Well, you would have to put in the hard work by making the stuff.
Okay.
And then you would have to make the candle. Mm-hmm. Then you would have to make more and more, and then you would have to sell it
Ah, that's the
and
word.
make sure they like it.
Sell it.
So advertising leads,
Like it.
well, making sure they like it. They have to like it, otherwise they wouldn't buy it, right?
Yes.
But
and-
this all led to you doing more sales, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
But I just want to say, if they don't like it, then they could tell more people. And if one of them's an influencer, they could say, don't get this product, it's not good. And then more and more people would start not buying the product. So then we would have to make a new product. So then more and more people would like be like, oh, here's a new product. Maybe we should give her a second chance and try it. And then more people would be like, let's say another influencer comes. Let's call her Claire. And Claire comes and she's like, hey guys, I really like this one product from the candle shop. You guys should all try it. It's so good. And then people that like her channel, more people could see it and then they can come and buy it.
Okay. So it's important to have a good reputation, is what you're saying?
Yes.
And make good products and put in really hard amount of effort and thought to make sure what you're going to sell is what you say it is, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's continue. How else did this exercise go with Brian?
Well, after we did all of these things, we didn't play a game.
Well, let's work through the end of this real quick. I want everyone listening to understand. See, this is called a money tracker, right?
Yes.
And these are all the things that you either put into the business, okay, like you spent money on, or things that you made money on, right? Okay, so why don't you talk about some of the things and how the game worked out for you?
Well,
So you did the advertising and you got $500. Then what happened? I know it was a few weeks ago. Do you remember that?
I don't really know because it doesn't say,
Okay.
but let's just make up something like
Well, you have some numbers written down. So it looks like then you got these deposits, right? So you did advertising and you got a $500 deposit. So you went from $400 to $900. And then there was a withdrawal. What's a withdrawal?
it means you lose money. Like,
So you pull money out of the accounts, the business accounts. And what do you use that withdrawal for?
so you take, can I explain withdrawal? So, what would happen is, we had these little money things. These aren't the things, but let's just say they are.
Okay.
We had money. We all had 500, and then when we got more, he would give us more. He had a lot of them. And then I picked up a card, and it said withdraw $100. So then he had to take away 100 from me and say, okay, you don't get this back because you spent it on something. Let's say I spent it on inventory for my business.
Okay.
He said, okay, now you took this out, now you have to spend it, and now you don't get any more. So you don't get that one.
Great. And then there was a $200 deposit and a $50 deposit and a $500 deposit.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like you ended this up with $1,550. Mm-hmm. And what happened when your instructors saw this and heard this?
Well, when they saw that I had $150,
Well, $1,500.
$1,500, they told me that I'm very good at business stuff, and that Keith said, how did you know all of this stuff? Because we didn't teach you this stuff yet. And I said, well, I've seen this stuff before because my dad is a business coach, and when I did my lemonade stand, he taught me about this certain stuff. And he taught me that when I got the lemonade stuff, I would have to make that money back. I would spend the money, but then I'd have to try to make the money back.
That's right. So let me ask you then, you're a young lady and you have this aspiration to build a business, right? And you've done this a few times now. You've done lemonade stands and you've done popcorn selling.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And your aspiration is to gain this money to then build your candle business with a partner, right, Frankie? Or whoever's willing to at that time. But you want to build this candle business. So what's the reason you want to build a business for you? Not for anybody else, not for what I've told you, but why do you want to build businesses?
Like, kind of like, because so then I could, like, so then I wouldn't get, like, because a lot of the time, the CEO of something, say I worked at Target, I would, like, get less money than what the higher person would get. And then if I had my own business, I could probably get more money than what I would get in...
Like as an employee?
Yes, as an employee.
So you want to do it because the possibility for you to make more money is higher? Mm-hmm. Okay, do you think it's going to be easier to be an employee or easier to run a business?
I think it would be easier to be an employee.
Okay, so why do you want to do something that's so difficult?
Because I feel like I could do it, and I also feel like if I was an employee, I wouldn't really learn how to do this stuff. I would just be like, oh, they'll do it for me. Like, I would have more like more workers. Like,
you'd have like an employee mindset?
No.
You'd think like
I would have like more people around me. So let's say I had like a big cart of microphones. And then I was like, oh, hey, Sarah, can you do this? Can you put these away for me instead? And she would be like, oh, yeah, sure. So then I would start getting lazy. But then if I ran my own business, then I could be like, oh, I have to get this. Let me get it right now since I don't want to ask my employees to do it.
Okay.
So I would have to do it myself.
So it would be more important? Like things would become more important to you and you would learn more and you'd have the ability to make more. That's a lot of good reasons. I like that, Lily. So what do you think as a business owner, okay, and your limited experience in doing these things, what is the most important things to run a successful business?
Well, the most important things are probably to have fun. Of course, you need to, if you don't want, like, you have to make sure you want to do this. Like, if you don't want to do this, then you should be doing it. Then you would be like, oh, I really don't want to do this, but I have to. And then you would, like, it would get worse and worse and worse, and you wouldn't make as much money. But if you were doing something that you want to do, like, if I really wanted to sell coffee mugs, then I would be like, oh, I'm really excited to do this. I'm going to have a great time doing this. Instead of being, oh, I don't want to sell coffee mugs. This is so boring.
We, in Atomic Business Coaching, we call that obsession. You get obsessed about something.
Yeah. Like how I'm really excited, I'm really excited, to buy and wrap all the Christmas presents for my family and friends.
Okay.
Instead of being like, oh, I have to do this, and then it would look really bad. But because number one, I've been practicing. Number two, it's something that I enjoy, so I would actually take my time to do this nicely and neatly instead of just being like, oh, I'm going to try to finish this as fast as I can, but it's not going to look good. So I'd just be like, oh, I'll just put some wrapping paper over it and call it a day, because that would not be good.
It's a great way to think about this. So really enjoying something is one of the very important things of running a successful business. What else would you say is?
Well, you have to make sure that you have people that can help you with this. Because if it was just you making this one business, you would be running around everywhere doing everything, and it would make your life a lot harder. Because you would have all that weight on your shoulders, and you would be like, oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I have to do that. And then let's say you got 2 employees. That would take a little bit of work off your shoulders, but you would still have to do a lot of stuff. But let's say you get more and more and more employees, then it would make your life easier and easier each time, but your life still isn't, it still isn't over. You still have to do stuff. Right. It's not like, oh, I got all these employees, now I can just sit back and relax. No, you still have to do stuff. Like, you have to count the money, you have to see if you can find more employees, you have to give everybody the money. You can't hoard it all for yourself. Because let's say I had all this money and I gave you $1.
Right.
That wouldn't be fair.
But I would get paid for what I'm worth, right? But I like this, so good. So you need to have help. That's another key ingredient to having a successful business. I love that. Are there any other things that you think you need to have a successful business?
Not really. But
okay.
Can I say something?
Oh, please. That's what we're here to do.
Just talk.
But before you do that, I want to explain to everybody listening or watching is, see, we always say at Atomic Business Coaching, Lilly, that business and life are simple. They're just not easy. So see, what you just did is you explained that in your own words. Did I tell you to say any of this?
Nope.
Okay. So you explained in your own words that everything is very hard that you're going to do, but it's actually very simple, right? Love what you do and get help and support to do it, right? That's pretty much what you said to have a successful business. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just want them to understand that someone at your age and your experience can understand these things. And maybe this is going to help some of them to simplify the way they're thinking and understand how much hard work goes in. But if they love it, if they're obsessed with it, right, they can then put in the commitment and the effort to do it. Make sense?
Yes. This
is really why I wanted you to come on here, is to show some of our listeners and our audience and our members and our clients about, it's not easy to do all these things, and that's what most people sometimes think when they're going to start a business, is it's going to be so easy. And I appreciate you sharing all that with them, because maybe they could see, hey, wow, if a 4th grader can think this way, maybe I can too. So thanks for letting me say that. What else did you want to say?
When we got these things, there were little people. We started off with these 3 people. All right. Would you like to read Sir Spend-A-Lot?
Sure. Let's see, where is that?
Right there.
This one?
Yep.
Oh, Sir Spends-A-Lot says, I wish money grew in a garden so that I could just spend as much as I want.
But then Super Saver said, if I had a money garden, I would save all the money I planted. Like she should. You should save the money so then you can save up until you get something you want. But if you buy everything right now, I have $20. Oh, I'm gonna buy this thing that's $10 and this thing that's $5 and this other thing that's $5. I have all these things. Wait, but then they would be like, wait, oh no, now I have no more money left. Now I can't buy anything else, so now I have to wait until I get more and more money. That's why some people have piggy banks. So then, I feel like sometimes if people, I'm not saying this is everybody, but I feel like sometimes if people have piggy banks, it's like they kind of need one. So then they won't keep spending money and be like, oh, I got this and this and this and this and this. Because if you have a piggy bank, you can't really take it out unless there's a little thing that you can take out and take the money out, or if you smash it.
Right.
But you wouldn't.
And then what's the 3rd person on there?
The 3rd person is Ernie the Earner.
Here. What's Ernie the Earner say?
Ernie the Earner said, a money garden is not how people get money. Money has to be earned with hard work and dedication. I added that on.
I like that. That's very nice. So yeah, there's 3 different, those are what Tom, Tom, our partner here, he always talks about the mindset you have to have.
So they also talked about how you need to have, how you're either going to have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset.
That's right.
A growth mindset, if nobody knows, a growth mindset is like, oh, I can't do this math problem, but if I keep trying, I can do it. A fixed mindset is, oh, I can't do this math problem. I guess I'll never know. I'll just walk away and go do something else easier.
Yeah. Well, Tom's going to be happy to hear you say that. And that's one of the things we talk about. The way we explain to people is the simplest way to explain a growth mindset is the willingness to learn. And I always say it's when you can add the word yet to anything. So it's like, what was the problem that person had that you said?
Which person?
The example you just gave. You were saying it was, what was the example you said? I forgot.
Money God is not how people...
Oh, no. You were saying something before. So a growth mindset is when someone would maybe say, I don't have the ability to do this. And you add the word yet.
I can't do this math problem
math.
yet, but...
See, that's a growth mindset.
But if I keep trying, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, so a simple way to have a growth mindset is just to add the word yet. So a fixed mindset says, I can't do this math problem. But a growth mindset would say, I can't do this math problem yet.
Yet.
Right.
Yet is a super word.
It is a super word.
Like superfoods.
That's right. There you go. I'm glad you remember that. So anything else that you'd like to tell them or share about your experience before we wrap this up today?
Well, there were a few more people so we know Ernie the Earner, but now there was Idea. She said, I want to start a business, but I can't decide on one. Ernie the Earner said, think about what you like doing. And then Ida said, I like baking cookies. Maybe I'll bake and sell cookies. And then Sir Spendelet steps in and is like, it's about demand. It's about demand. What customers need and want. And then Super Saver, I like making necklaces. I think I'll start a craft business. And then a new guy, Global Guy. Global Guy, that's Aida. And then there's Global Guy.
Okay.
Global Guy says, I want to be an astronaut or deep sea diver, but for now, I'll sell sea stars. And then Sir Spendelot says, that gives me an idea. I can sell things I no longer use. And then Plan Man says, I'll create a business plan for each of you.
That's wonderful. So they each had their own ability to find a way to build a business, generate revenue, and live a happy life, yes?
Yes.
Great. So that means there's really no right or wrong way to do this, is there?
Yes.
Okay. So how would you like to close this? I have a final question I'm going to ask you, but how would you like to wrap this up? And is there anything you'd like to talk to them about or say, or what do you got there?
This is a certificate of achievement, Lilly and H. I'm not going to say the school name.
Right.
My teacher, can I say her name?
Sure.
Miss Miller, and then Brandon and Keith, and then it says my name.
All right. And what was the name of this junior achievement that you were doing?
JA More Than Money.
Yeah, junior achievement more than money. All right. So go ahead. I'm going to give you the last words of wisdom to share with the audience about anything you want to tell them. You can speak to the entire world now. So is there anything you'd like to tell them about business, about you, about this experience?
Well, first of all, this was great.
Thanks for coming. I had a great time too.
And I'd like to thank Beyonce.
For real? Beyonce?
For real.
Wow. Why Beyonce?
She's just great. And
just fun thing to say.
It's because she's a good singer. Mm-hmm. Second of all, because everybody, a lot of people there.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that.
They're always like, make sure to thank Beyonce. And then at the end of their speech, they'd be like, and I just want to thank Beyonce so much.
Just playing it safe, huh? Okay.
Just in case she comes for me.
Oh boy, so, you're very funny. So, is there anything else you want to say? Otherwise, I'll wrap this up with the last question.
if there's something you really want to do, you really should do it. If it's hard, if it's easy, if it's something you really want to do, you really should do it. How now you really want to teach people about business. You're like, okay, I really want to do this now. I'm going to do it right now, and it's going to be so much fun. And then I really want to make candles. So for Christmas last year, I got a candle business. I got a little candle kit, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I want to do this right now. So then I got to do it, and I made a great candle, and it was a lot of fun. Now you can say your question.
Well, first, I want to say thank you so much for sharing this. You're very brave. And it's wonderful that you had asked me for about a week or so, when are we going to do this podcast? Because we came up with the idea of doing it. But I love when you're passionate about something, when you're obsessed with something, that you continue to go after that. And you always are asking for help, and you're learning about things. I'm very lucky to have you as a daughter, Lily. I'm very happy. It's wonderful to be able to teach you these things and share my passion with you. So I love you so much, and I thank you for all this. So now I'm going to give you a question that I've asked many other people. Imagine there's about 7 billion people on the planet. You know that?
Yes.
Okay. So imagine you could tell all 7 billion people something and they would all hear it. What's one thing you'd want to tell every person on the planet?
You can do it. I believe in you. And chase your dreams. Make sure you have fun and you want to do what you're doing.
I love you, girl. You're the best.
You're the best too.
See you next time.
Bye.